Hey everyone, I'm Allison.
And I'm Bryce.
And we're Better Half Reviews. So we have another rough draft segment here for you today. We're going to be talking about a couple games that we've either been playtesting or looking into that are going to be coming out sometime in the future, and we thought you should know about them. They may not have full reviews yet, but they may in the future. But here's a little snippet of some games coming up.
So first up, we have HoverDome. HoverDome is a futuristic racing game where you're racing hover bikes around an arena that have turrets popping up that are waiting to damage you, and other players that are aiming to come in first.
So we had the chance to playtest HoverDome several times, and we've had a lot of fun with it. Like, the hover bikes are so cool. All of them are unique in different colors, and my favorite aspect of the game are like the little tech sticks because they just look so cool and they feel so cool. But yeah, so it feels like futuristic Mario Kart when you're playing this because you have different weapons, like Bryce was saying, where you can kind of use that to aim and try to get your opponents and maybe get the one up on them and pass them. There's shortcuts on the game board, and your bike can get damaged, so you might have to watch out for things, and it can slow you down.
Yeah, and I like how they implemented the shortcuts, because you have to be going slow enough to be able to enter them. So if you want to go really fast around the track, you're going to miss it. Mm-hmm.
And then with going too fast, like when you're going on turns and stuff, you can get damaged if you're going too fast on a turn because, you know, physics and all that. So I like how they implemented ways of the realness with racing.
Yeah, and it's not just like, oh, I have, all these high movement cards, I'm just going to throw them all down. You kind of have to strategically plan, like, okay, I want to kind of go slower around here and then move really fast through this section.
So this game, it's fun. It's really easy to be able to play, and you can also adjust it on time length versus like how many players you have. Like, you can play this with a lot of people if you want. And you can do 1 lap, 2 laps, whatever you want. It's very fun and very workable with whoever's playing.
Definitely. So be sure to check out HoverDome. It is a fun game.
Okay, so another game that we've been playtesting is Old Salt, designed by Tim Ferry III.
So in Old Salt, you're sailing the high seas and you're trying to battle other ships and capture islands for your control.
So this game, it's very open. You're just basically playing on a giant map with water and little islands, and you're all trying to take it over. And it's really interesting because when you're moving your boats around, the way that you orient your boats is very important because it can help or hinder you with attacking people and also with them attacking you.
Yeah, so depending on how your ship is oriented, you could shoot from the broadside and, have multiple shots available to you.
Demolish.
Or if you're shooting at the bow or stern of the ship, you're having more defense because it's a smaller area to hit as opposed to the broadside of the ship. So it's just really tactical and a lot of fun in that way, where you're thinking about, okay, I want to move my ship here, but I also have to think about how I want to orient my ship compared to everything else.
Mm-hmm. And then with that, there's different types of ships that some of them have different abilities, so that makes it also interesting as well. And then the players, you also play as different factions.
Yeah, the factions are very interesting. They all have different abilities, so they all play very differently, and it adds to the replayability of the game because you want to try out all the different factions. In this game, you're limited to the number of ships you can have. Your ships aren't regenerating as they're destroyed. So it just makes it that much harder when you're trying to think, okay, I can go odd and attack this thing, but I'm going to lose a lot of ships doing it. Maybe I should do something else. But it also helps the game not drag on by having ships just keep continually respawning.
And one of the times we played 2-player versus 2-player, so like Bryce and I were on the team, and we were playing against other people, so we had to like strategize together and go after different areas to try to take over enough islands before they did. So that was really interesting too, to have like the different modes that you can do.
Yeah, I think the different modes are interesting as well, and I'd be interested in see what all makes it into the game. I know he's still experimenting with the different game modes and trying to make those all balanced and things. So it's a very addicting game. It's very thinky, but it's not one of those war games that just drags on for hours and hours and hours. There's things in place to limit how long it'll go. Mm-hmm. So
And when we've been playtesting it, we've even been talking about like how there could be different variations depending on like the level of play you want to do too. So I feel like this could be really friendly to lighter gamers, and then you can push it on to more strategic.
Yeah, I feel like it can be a good entryway into like wargaming. It's not like a super heavy war game, but I think war gamers would like it, and I think it could lead some people who are wary of like war games into that direction.
So this game is going to be launching the Kickstarter, I think, spring of next year, so 2021. And we're going to be doing a review for this as well when it gets a little bit closer to the release date. Okay, so the last game is a game that I am super excited about. It's called Oros, and it's from AESE Games. I love this game.
It is a very interesting game. I don't think I've played a game quite like it before.
So the theme of the game is you are demigods, and you're helping to like help lay out the land, and your goal is to build up shrines and monoliths and temples.
Yeah, so you can move the tiles around this kind of square board or inwards or whatever, and you're smashing them together and building mountains. And then you can control your like followers to go build temples or shrines or monoliths on top of these mountains. So it's really cool, kind of the two parts of that, where you're moving the tile pieces and you're like creating volcanoes and everything so you can build up these mountains. But then you're also gaining points and gaining influence by then controlling your followers to do things.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's so much to say about this game. It's kind of hard to explain all of it in just like this rough draft views segment. If you want to kind of like compare it to things, think of like paladins with an actual theme. No offense, like paladins, there's a theme, but it kind of gets lost in things. But this is like, there's so many cool little choices, and you're doing things on your player board, and you can try to earn certain bonuses and go for different strategies. But everything with the theme of this game makes sense. Like you're a demigod, and you're helping form the land, and when you're building your shrines and things like that, you can only build it up on the mountain, because, back in the day, that's kind of like what it was. Like mountains were like sacred places. You go up into the mountain to. But, so it just really makes sense, and it's really cool, and you can tell that they have definitely thought out what they're doing with this game, and I need it. But this is probably not even launching until early, maybe spring next year, but this is definitely one to be checking out and looking into, and you can play it for free on Tabletopia right now. And something else, sorry, I keep talking. With this, there's an awesome solo mode available, and all of the different players, the AI players, have different strengths and abilities. So your game can be totally different based on who you're playing against. There's some nicer ones, and there's some really mean demigods. So this is a great multiplayer game and a fantastic solo game.
I agree. There's a lot of strategy packed into it. Based on how you move the tiles around, how you build up those mountains, but then also how you construct your player board and the powers that you'd want to choose, or the powers that you try to get on that player board. So I think it's a great game as well.
It's fantastic. So that's all that we have for Rough Draft Reviews today. We've got several great games coming along. There's some that are early in production and some that are closer to done. So definitely go check out all their links down below and see if it's something that you should be looking into down the road.
And if you would like full reviews on any of these games, be sure to comment down below and let us know which ones you'd like to see a more review on.
All of them.
Yeah, I would be willing to review all these. So.
All right, so I hope you guys have a great one. I'm Allison.
And I'm Bryce, and we're Better Half Reviews.
Happy gaming.
Have fun.